So, Donnie, let's take an early look at the round of 32. We go in chronological order. It starts just after noon Eastern time in Providence. Purdue and the upset-minded McNeese Cowboys led by Will Wade. 6.5-point spread in favor of the Boilermakers. The second game in Providence is one of the games, at least from a headline and storyline perspective, everybody is going to be paying attention to. St. John's and Rick Pitino, Arkansas and John Calipari. 6.5-point spread in favor of the Johnnies as well. How do you break down those two games?
Yeah, taking a look at the first one, of course, would be Purdue, because the one thing that we understand is you sort of get jaded a little bit. Like, boy, how good is McNeese's defense overall? It's 59th in the country. Yesterday, you could have been confused in the first half. Like, am I watching Houston play, or is this actually McNeese play of how good they were against Clemson? You're not going to get that same sort of effort in the first half that you're going to get from Purdue, because Purdue is absolutely elite at efficiency here, which means not turning the basketball over, rebounding, shooting three-point shots from 38% as a team, 55% from inside the arc. I really, and again, it's not a knock on McNeese. I'm not taking anything away from their first-round victory. It was impressive, even though the final score didn't indicate how impressive it actually was. You're not going to get that type of effort from Purdue out of the first half. Purdue's not scoring under 20 points against McNeese. They'll be able to handle the pressure defense. They'll be able to rebound the basketball and make big shots when they can, which included from three-point range. So just getting a start tomorrow, I was impressed with McNeese State's victory, but I don't think it's a great matchup second round for McNeese going up against Purdue. I don't think you can bully them, steal the basketball, and say, you're going to struggle with our defense. I think Purdue wins that game going away, which means winning and covering the point spread.
Yeah, DRS, if you were going to trust any backcourt or maybe any guard in college basketball to take care of it, that would probably be Braden Smith. Purdue plays slow. McNeese plays slow. There will be a lot of pressure, but if you can get into your half-court sets and you're not turning the basketball over and you're able to make shots, unlike Clemson in the first 32 minutes or so of yesterday's game in Providence, I think this is a good matchup for the Boilermakers. Did not love that matchup for Clemson against the Pokes. I think the Boilers are in a good spot. Purdue avoiding the opening round upset against High Point. Has it changed our March narrative around them? We shall see. Again, St. John's and Arkansas. The Johnnies, not great out the gates. And it's been a consistent thing this year. If you think the Razorbacks can keep it close, not just a 6.5-point spread for the game overall, DRS, but a 4.5-point number in the opening half for the Hogs and the Johnnies. All right, next up on that round of 32 graphic, Michigan, Texas A&M, and Colorado, Texas Tech, and Drake. That's where things are in terms of our timeline tomorrow. A&M, a slight favorite against the Maize and Blue. Texas Tech, a 7.5-point favorite against Drake. Will the March momentum continue for Ben McCollum and his Bulldogs?
You know, look, there's, again, the round of 32 is sensational all the way through. But real quick point there on that St. John's game. Without handicapping it, the way I know St. John's likes to play, Ben, like, I really think St. John's wins that game by at least double digits going away. I really believe that, because I just like the matchup with Arkansas and Kansas, the way that footprint was in that one, where I wasn't really trusting Kansas. I think you got the best out of St. John's, where not really focused in the first half, really got them together, now playing their peak basketball. I think they really take apart Arkansas in that game. And Texas A&M, from just a matchup standpoint, Michigan is not going to run away from anybody. And I think that's what you have to do when you play Texas A&M. If you play that same type of style, like we're just going to try to be big on the glass, Texas A&M will beat you there. So I have some pretty clear inputs tomorrow where I'm saying to myself, you know what? I like some of these games already here, and that's exciting.
We'll continue to look at the round of 32, the early lines on the early line next. Let's continue getting you set for the round of 32 on Saturday, because we won't see you after the round of 64 on this Friday. We have previewed and broken down all 16 games over more than 13 consecutive hours of college basketball. Again, but we do have our 8 round of 34 games for a Friday already set up. Purdue, McNeese, St. John's, Arkansas, our set of games in Providence. Purdue, McNeese in the Midwest region, St. John's and Arkansas in the West region, Texas A&M and Michigan in the South. That game in Denver, Colorado, Texas Tech and Drake in Wichita, Kansas. The Red Raiders, a 7.5-point favorite. This also a game hailing from the West region and that portion of the bracket. Drake yesterday, DRS, controlling the game against Missouri, winning by double digits outright as a 6.5-point dog. Now getting 7.5 against a Texas Tech team I know you really, really enjoy. How close, how competitive Can Drake maybe strike yet another upset victory tomorrow?
I got to tell you, I do like Drake with the points. I think Texas Tech can win this basketball game in advance, which I expect them to do and have them in my bracket. But understand this, too. I need to be full gas. Texas Tech at full strength is a thing of beauty to watch on offense because they play like an NBA team. Give me the three-point shot. Give me another three-point shot. If that doesn't go down, give me another three-point shot, which Ben, I absolutely love to see that play. But Drake does defend the three-point shot well. And also, a key ingredient yesterday that did not play, Chance McMillan, one of the best three-point shooters in the country, once again with that hockey injury upper body, which people thought he was supposed to play yesterday and didn't. I want to know if that was more, we don't need you in this one, we need you down the line. But does that mean we need you down the line, meaning I hope we win this next game so we can rest you 4 or 5 more days before we get to the Sweet 16? That is a little bit of a worry for me. It's a great basketball game, and yes, I am nervous Drake can actually pull this upset with the way they play basketball. If I do get McMillan playing that game and healthy along with the other starters, yes, Texas Tech should overpower them. They're more talented, and they're the better team. But a little bit of a pause. It's one of those, Ben, where I need to see those reports coming out early in the day. This guy's expected to play. Here's what we think. And maybe even get that leak report of, hey, he has no restrictions on his game today. But the fact that you missed a game that you couldn't play, and we're not talking about, hey, you play 4 days later. You play 24 to 36 hours later. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that a lot from Texas Tech.
Final game on a Thursday night in Wichita. A shorter turnaround for the Red Raiders for this matchup against Drake. The Bulldogs also playing, of course, in the evening session. Yesterday, DRS against a Mizzou team that seemingly could not stop going to the over down the final 3 weeks of their SEC slate. The game was 67-57, well under even a minimal total of 132.5. Tomorrow's total against the Red Raiders around 127 and a hook. Drake under in 4 straight in 7 of their last 9. That's not exactly how Grant McCaslin and the Red Raiders love to play. They're a little bit slower. Nobody's slower than Drake, but they're really good defensively, running you off the three-point line. They love to take the three ball. Chance McMillan, by far, though, their best three-point shooter. Can the Big 12 Player of the Year, JT Toppin, and his size differential against Ben McCollum's Drake Bulldogs be the difference? I've got Drake in my Sweet 16. I'm waiting to probably get to a point where this game is close, find a middling opportunity live on the Red Raiders if I can to get close to this number. DRS in the afternoon hours and through our evening time slate. Let's continue with the Saturday at the round of 32. Auburn and Creighton in Lexington. It is our largest spread of the round of 32. The Tigers now a 9.5-point favorite. Some market movement backing Auburn, despite the fact they lost 3 of their last 4 entering the big dance. Did not cover yesterday as well against Alabama State. Why do you think the market is buying back in on Bruce Pearl and his Tigers?
Because it's a good matchup for them. It really is. When you just take a look at what Creighton did, hey, make shots from anywhere you can beat anybody. Yes, that's case in point, but also understand this. If you're looking to bring that flamethrower from the three-point line, it's not against Auburn. They are going to hit you with the extinguisher because they'll chase you off and defend it just about as good as anybody in the country. Yeah. So if you do take that away and say good luck inside, Auburn's got a very competent defense inside. And then also, the thing that sometimes we lose ourselves for, I know Auburn's taking their punches. They're awesome on defense and incredible on offense in efficiency. And you take a look at a Creighton defense where sometimes the calling card can be, well, we'll frustrate you a little bit. They don't turn you over. So if you have the number 2 most efficient offense against a defense that's not going to pester you or take the basketball away, eventually that's going to win out. I'm buying back on Auburn when I was never out on Auburn, but it seems like everybody is, and I'm not going to let that good Creighton performance cloud my vision. Auburn's better. Auburn handles their business for me.
CU 8-2-1 against the spread as an underdog this year, winning outright as a dog in their opening round game against Louisville. 5 outright victories for Greg McDermott and his Blue Jays, booked as the dog this year. But, Donnie, what's so fascinating about Creighton that I think we saw on full display yesterday, they love to shoot the three, but they're not great at it. And they have Ryan Kalkbrenner, who can also shoot the three, but one of the best bigs in the sport. And yet they don't get the ball down low nearly as often as I would like them to. They were elite from 3 yesterday. They started 1 of 7. They made 7 of their next 8 to end out the opening half and really pull away from the Cards. That's going to be key if you're going to keep this game within that 9.5-point spread. Again, that is the largest so far for the round of 32 on this Saturday. Wisconsin, BYU, one of your favorite games, basically a money line pick 'em, total of 154.5. Houston and Gonzaga. I mean, come on. Doesn't get much better than that matchup in the round of 32. Tennessee and UCLA, total 132.5. Expected to be a slugfest between the Vols and the Bruins. Donnie, in the final minute, before we send you off to the money line, what's your favorite game? What's your favorite play for tomorrow?
Yeah, it's not Tennessee. It's not UCLA. Houston, by the way, is going to win by 4.5 points over Gonzaga. I love the fact that Gonzaga looks so damn good, and that first round is getting so much respect. I look for them to just lock in and say, you know what? If this is going to be a rock fight, we'll win this by 6, 7, 8 points, but you're not covering that spread. I got Houston in that game. But BYU, Wisconsin, you look at this game and say, Donnie, both of these teams go ahead and shoot the three-point shot. Both of these teams love the three-point shot. Both of these teams already played a game in elevation where they got used to the surroundings here. I don't know about a side that I'm taking, even though I do have Wisconsin getting past this round. I had them against VCU. But if I'm looking at props, this is my game. Three-point shot props, bring it home with BYU, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Maybe my favorite game of the weekend lining up right there. Love it. Love it.
154.5 that total.
Yeah.
Donnie, right side, enjoy the money line. Have a great time tonight in studio for Bracket Central as well. More on the early line next.